can skip ahead about 4 minutes and you'll hear the opening intro music and the beginning and start of the show. Right now, you'll get a behind the scenes peek and all the wackiness that puts us. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
And if you are watching before this, are the commercials for Taint So Fresh and the parody commercial Budweiser Grooming America is up and available right now. So I did note that you were in the notes you were promising that there were 89% fewer technical issues. So good, yay us.
That was last week. Who can say this week?
Oh,
you know what? I haven't started. You know what? I haven't started it.
You haven't. Oh well.
We're going now. We're going now. Sorry, I started in OBS and I forgot to start the live stream on YouTube. So.
Oh, okay. Thanks, pal.
Yeah.
So.
37% fewer technical difficulties this week.
Yeah. You're an idiot. All right, so if you're just joining us in some sort of time-shifted way and you want to skip the nonsense that comes beforehand, which is not at all professional, skip ahead.
3 minutes now. 3 minutes.
3 minutes. You moron. Good heavens. I don't even know how people put up with you.
Why you bullying me?
Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Stay classy, San Diego. Let's see. Tell everybody in the internet land, highest. Because
well, we're boned.
Is that Bender from?
That is Bender. Yeah. Unlike this one.
It's just going to be a total shit show, I think.
Which is Mark.
Yeah. Well, and your bet was Mark. Your bet was Mark was not going to make it tonight.
It was because I had a Mark-centric story.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I have a Mark-centric story, he doesn't show up. He gets busy because he has a real life, unlike you and I.
Mm-hmm.
It's Wednesday. Here I am.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's done. That's done. That's done. And
that's weird. I can hear myself cough in the background through your mic, even though I turned my mic off.
I heard you cough even through my headphones.
Yeah.
You must be a horrible cougher.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. That's ready. That's ready. That's ready. My eyes have been kind of burny for like that last half hour. I realize I'm so tired I fell asleep.
Well, you should stop putting the hot sauce in them.
Yes.
You frequently fall asleep in the chair upstairs. This is nothing new.
I never fall asleep in the chair upstairs.
You do, frequently. Frequently.
I think you're quit funning me. And Tim Turner is here. Hi, Tim.
Hello.
All right, it's almost movie sign. Not quite. Almost movie sign.
Not quite. A little bit better at it.
And I have beer that doesn't taste like soap this week. I am looking forward to getting some sleep tonight.
All right.
And how much farther out are we? 10 seconds?
Can you not see that? We have 40 seconds till we're at 8 o'clock.
No, I can't see that because I've got other screens up.
Well, you could switch over and see that screen. It's not difficult.
Okay.
There, I won't bother to mute my mic for that one.
Okay. Everyone wants to hear you professionally cough.
I know.
It's a movie sign.
Bants and Bants. Bants and Bants.
All systems go.
Bants and Bants.
Defiance.
Bants and Bants.
This rebel has a cause.
Bombs and Bants.
We begin as wanderers, and we are wanderers still.
Welcome everyone to the 90th live edition of Bombs and Bants Wednesday Rants. As always, I'm your dedicated and humble host, John Wilder, coming to you from an undisclosed location hidden deep beneath the surface of the earth. With me, as always, might be Mark.
Yep. Hello.
All right.
I can play him in. Here he is. Oh, here comes Mark.
Welcome, Mark. How are you doing, man?
Oh, fine.
Since you weren't here for any of the pregame show, what's been going on in your world?
Oh, it was my night to make dinner, so I was just finishing up all that. So.
Ah. Well. So what was dinner?
Tonight it was something quick because kids had church stuff, so fish and sticks, and fish and chips.
Okay.
So,
That's good. Fish and chips.
with some salad, some salad if they wanted it.
So until you got to the salad, I was imagining every food output for the evening was yellowish in color.
And
Oh yeah.
rectangularly shaped.
Just call it Yellow Day.
Well, I did get a cantaloupe, so.
There you go. It's all yellow.
It's cut into
Everything's
sticks,
yellow.
though, not chunks. Sticks.
Well, my beer is not amber.
Well,
it's nice and red. So.
Yeah, I shouldn't say fish. I mean, supposedly they're fillets, but they're breaded. I don't know.
And if you'd had it with mashed potatoes and cream gravy, you would have had a monochromatic pastiche across the plates. The missus, what are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm always coughing though. I had to paint today.
Well, you didn't have to paint. You wanted.
Well, yes, I did. Well, no, because so T-Bone officially moved out. He is now an adult and grown on his own, and so nothing is in his bedroom. And because it had been a boy's bedroom for 12 years, are we at 12 years now?
The carpet, it had the great tranche.
Yeah, so we had to steam clean the carpets, and then the walls were they were originally white, but they were kind of a dingy brown, so we repainted those. And Pugsley and I did that.
Fun. So what are you going to do with the room now? Is there going to be an office or a hobby room?
It's going to be kind of a spare room office. We're going to put a bed in there, and then a desk and some filing cabinets for important adult-like documents.
As soon as the desk shows up, I'll probably be podcasting from in there.
Yeah.
So, and so we'll
I am firmly ensconced in my little cubby hole over here on the other side of the living room. I'm happy where I am.
Yeah, so we'll actually physically be closer, but we'll be different floors.
Right.
So.
And then you won't be able to hear me cough when I mute my mic.
And will I be able to still say I'm coming to you from deep beneath the surface of the earth?
No,
well, you are
high above the surface of the earth.
Yeah, it's beneath the surface of the earth, but on the next level up.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, we have news. This week has been so much news.
Oh no, wait! I had a funny thing to share with you before we get into the more serious stuff. It was a funny tweet that I saw, and I found this. I personally felt this when I saw it, and this is just a tweet about finding jobs, and it's on the screen here.
Steve Jobs?
No, like finding looking for work. Since we've kicked our oldest out of the house, and he's got his first full-fledged job. Baby boomers, why don't you just call or drop in and see if they're hiring? Job descriptions. And this is every job description I have ever had in my life, primarily because I've been in radio, right? Do not call this office, or so help me God, I will cut your head off and drop kick it through your mother's front window, you effing animals.
There you have it.
So,
all right.
That's it.
Okay. All right. So
we can officially begin now.
Why?
My computer's running slow. I don't know that anything's going to be on time tonight.
We're not started already?
No, I'm just saying all my sound effects are lagging because my computer's just dragging tonight.
Oh, rainbows. Okay.
Yeah,
So you're talking about you.
Oh, so you pushed that ding like 5 minutes ago?
Yes. Yeah. I pushed that ding right after I said, it's time to start. And then it took like about 3 seconds to actually happen.
All right. The big news of the week is not the aliens, not Joe Biden, but probably being a treasonous fake. But it's the new Trump indictment in which the former president faces 37 felonious counts.
37?
Yes, of mishandling classified documents after leaving the office. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina was on ABC's This Week with George Snuffleupagus over the weekend and got a little bit bitchy with us when he was interrupted.
And it's well worth listening. It's kind of a long clip. It's 2 minutes, but it's well worth it just to listen to Lindsay get up in his face. Here we
This
go.
morning, Donald Trump has said repeatedly that he did nothing wrong. Do you believe that?
Well, here's what I believe. We live in an America where if you're the Democratic candidate for president, Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, you can set up a private server in your basement to conduct government business, and when an investigation is had about your activity... No, let me finish.
But you didn't answer the question.
That was ridiculous. Well, yeah, I'm trying to answer the question from a Republican point of view. That may not be acceptable on this show. Yes, I don't like what President Trump did in certain aspects. I don't like that Joe Biden had classified information on the garage. I don't like that Mike Pence carelessly took classified information. I don't like any of that. But what I don't like is a system in America where the Secretary of State, who's a Democratic candidate for president, has people take a hammer to social media devices and break them apart, apply bleach bit to a hard drive to erase emails, allow classified information to get on a felon's computer, Anthony Weiner. You haven't even mentioned that. Most Republicans believe we live in a country where Hillary Clinton did very similar things and nothing happened to her. President Trump will have his day in court, but espionage charges are absolutely ridiculous. Whether you like Trump or not, he did not commit espionage. He did not disseminate, leak, or provide information to a foreign power or to a news organization to damage this country. He is not a spy. He's overcharged. Did he do things wrong? Yes, he may have. He will be tried about that, but Hillary Clinton wasn't. Your old boss committed perjury in a civil lawsuit, lost his law license, obstructed justice in a dozen ways, and he didn't get prosecuted. I know.
And he was
I can't
impeached.
stress
Well,
enough.
Senator,
Yeah, well,
okay,
he was impeached, but he wasn't prosecuted.
Oh, Lindsay.
Yeah.
I always think of him as kind of a weak sauce and kind of mostly a Republican in name only, but he was okay in that one. Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they ought to just start boycotting any of these leftist news organizations. But yeah, I mean, at least he fought back a bit.
Yeah, he certainly puts Snuffleupagus in his place, didn't he? He was quiet for a long time after that.
For totes.
Yeah.
And again, that's well, that's what the TV's all about. But
his one mistake was admitting that Trump had done anything wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, it's much different than Judas Pence. Oh wait, did I say Judas Pence? Anyway, we do have, but Trump in normal fashion, he's already bounced back.
Today's his birthday, by the way. Today.
Yep, and he's already bounced back, and he has a commercial for a new product.
I'm President Donald Trump. My name has been in the news recently, and I wanted to clear up a few things. First of all, this is a witch hunt. It's a bigger witch hunt than has ever happened in history. Even that time when they really burned witches, it's huge. But do you want to know what's even bigger than that? Well, I'll tell you. My new snack treat, Donald Trump's Invite Mints. They are sweet, crunchy mint that satisfies your ankle need to fill your belly with some delicious garbage. And who doesn't love that? Ask for them by name wherever you buy snacks. Remember Donald Trump's Invite Mints. That's Donald Trump's Invite Mints. Go buy them before they're all gone and you're left out. It will make you sad. So sad. Donald Trump's Invite Mints from Slap Cop Foods.
Donald Trump's indictments.
And the thing that's hilarious is he doesn't drink wine. Of course, this is Trump wine. It's the best wine. Yeah. Had Trump steaks. I mean, he eats jerky, but instead of actual steak. Oh, well. While we here in the States are always struggling with what should and should not be allowed under the First Amendment, our British cousins are not lucky enough to even have a First Amendment or a 0th Amendment. What they have is Section 5 of the Public Order Act, which states that a person is guilty of harassment, alarm, or distress if they use threatening, abusive, or insulting language. So, in other words, we'd have already been put in jail just this podcast.
Absolutely.
Recent
Yeah,
writs
absolutely.
subjected to this law include a man who called a police horse gay.
Yes, he called the police horse gay.
And the person referred to Scientology as a cult. British comedian Rowan Atkinson is part of a push in the UK to repeal the law.
And here's Atkinson.
That is censoriousness of the most intimidating kind, guaranteed to have, as Lord Deer says, a chilling effect on free expression and free protest. Parliament's Joint Committee on Human Rights summarised, as you may know, this whole issue very well by saying, while arresting a protester for using threatening or abusive speech may, depending on the circumstances, be a proportionate response, we do not think that language or behaviour that is merely insulting should ever be criminalised in this way. The clear problem with the outlawing of insult is that too many things can be interpreted as such. Criticism is easily construed as insult by certain parties. Ridicule easily construed as insult. Sarcasm, unfavourable comparison, merely stating an alternative point of view to the orthodoxy can be interpreted as insult. And because so many things can be interpreted as insult, it is hardly surprising that so many things have been.
Amen.
Yep.
Go Rowan Atkinson. You're licensed for that language you're using? And, of course, they don't have a First Amendment. They also don't have a Second Amendment. Again, as many said, the Second protects the First. But, you know, the things that they arrest people for, you know, butter knives. If you're caught with a butter knife in public, you're apt to be arrested for that.
Well, I was just reading a story earlier today about a man who was a substitute teacher, and he was supposed to substitute teach a class period to 11 and 12-year-olds on going through puberty. So it's supposed to be a health class, right? And so he goes and he reads stuff out of the textbook and, you know, answered questions, and they had some discussions about stuff. And so he thought everything went fine. And then someone had turned him in because there were 2 transgender students in class, and they felt uncomfortable talking about that. You know, that boys have penises and girls have vaginas. That made them uncomfortable. So they turned him in to what was essentially Child Protective Services in the UK, who were investigating him as, get this, I don't want to use the actual word because YouTube might kick us off for that. Yes. You know, people who might have an unnatural affinity for young children. Yeah. Which, of course, he wasn't.
Instagram users.
Yeah, exactly. Instagram users. Yeah.
There you go.
And so he had to fight that, and all he had done was go in and substitute teach a health class.
Outstanding.
And no one
Go
ever,
Brent.
during the whole process of him trying to get his reputation back, no one ever told him specifically what the issue was. So he has no idea what he said.
I would point out that, I mean, we are talking about Britain, where the only people that get away with that type of thing are either like people like, you know, the head of the BBC or
Prince Andrew.
Pakistanis.
Prince
Yeah, or
Andrew.
Prince Andrew, but or Pakistani immigrants.
Yeah, and actually they have recently they've stopped teaching LGBT curricula in several pro-Muslim schools. Anyway, well, let's continue on. And now your feel-good story of the week. No, really? Stop laughing. Why won't you believe me? Seriously. Though if this doesn't kick you in the feels, there might be something wrong with you. From NBC News.
Dramatic rescue that has captured the world. 4 small children found deep in the Amazon jungle. Their survival after 40 days, nothing short of a miracle. And tonight, new details on how they stayed alive. The children, members of an indigenous tribe, had been living off the forest. Their grandmother explains that the eldest child, just 13 years old, had always taken care of her siblings, including the youngest with them, just 11 months old. She found cassava flour from the wreckage to eat, along with fruits and seeds. Her grandmother says the young girl knew which ones were safe to eat. Photos taken by the search team show fruit half-eaten, which along with footprints, a baby bottle, and tiny shoes left behind, helped lead them to the survivors. Their father calling it a miracle of God. The children had been missing since May 1st when their plane crashed, killing 3 adults on board, including their mother. Together, members of the Witoto tribe joined the Colombian military, searching over 1,600 miles through thick rainforest and jungle rivers, never giving up until the children were found alive. The race to find them is now a race to get them healthy. But the hospital's general director gives signs of hope, saying they speak little and are weak. But some of the children were playing today, and we know that when a child plays, it feels good. Let's give them some time. Those tiny footprints they left in the Amazon have now left a big impression on hearts around the world. Marissa Parra, NBC News.
So there's your feel-good story of the week. And I just saw a follow-up on this from the New York Post, that apparently their mother, who was on board and who was killed, survived the crash and lived for 4 days, was just really badly wounded. But she told them to leave her and go save themselves, because they would be more likely to survive without her.
Well, they made it.
They did.
And I noticed that they listed them as indigenous, and that was a fantastic airplane they fabricated.
Well, they were, let me see. Again, I'm looking at the New York Post story on this. I saw the name of the tribe, and I can't remember what it was.
The flies commercial class?
No, it was like a little Cessna. It was a small plane.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving along. Fender benders are fairly commonplace happenings. Most of us have had one at one time or another, but they aren't usually caused by the paranormal. The Creepy Newsbot explains.
Police in Idaho Falls, Idaho, have arrested a local man after his neighbor said he drove through his fence, into his car, and through his garage door. 37-year-old Adam Lee Shannon Flanagan was arrested last week and claims the victims had been harassing him telepathically. Flanagan also claims the victims used telepathy to tell him to throw rocks and bricks at them and also to his car through their property. Flanagan told police he did not intend to hit the victim's car. That happened because he had bad brakes. Total damage from the crash was $6,500. A motion has been filed for Flanagan to undergo a psychiatric evaluation.
So you get what happened in this story, right? The guy drove his car.
Mark, was this you?
No.
Have you heard about this one?
No, actually, this is the first I've heard of it.
Ah. I see they've repressed that news up in Idaho.
No, the local news is long over by the time I get home from work. So.
Oh, I mean, psychics. Is that just kind of a natural Idaho thing? Is it the potatoes?
He doesn't even know anything about it. He used the wrong word. He meant telepathy, and he was anyway.
Don't bend over in the garden, Granny. You know them taters got eyes.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Them taters may have eyes, but the Denver Nuggets might have extra A's. Whoever was in charge of making sure everything on the hats when they won the championship was spelled correctly might have made a little mistake. The word champions generally only has one A. Here's the image. Champions!
So their explanation for this, right, is that it was the font, not that it's spelled wrong. And you can kind of see in this picture that the A at the beginning of the word has kind of a post, the downstroke, and the second A doesn't. But still, it looks like an A. They are champions.
It is an A because it's tails at the bottom.
Right, right. But it's different from the first A. But whatever it was, they should have caught that before it ended up on.
So they couldn't even pick a consistent font.
Right. Yeah. And here's the team actually wearing them on the night that they won. And why I feel like the player that's standing in the middle there, doesn't he look like he's photoshopped into that image?
Yes. The one with the zero on his
Yes,
jersey?
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe he's psychically sending waves of his power up to Idaho to make people crash cars.
No, he was telepathically linked to the people making the hats. I'm telling you, there's 2 A's in that word. I'm telling you.
All right.
I, as a college graduate.
So
No,
do we need
that'd
this?
I don't think
that'd be so
we need
terrible
the soundbite.
Okay.
That'd be so terrible to have a jersey, your jersey number being 0. You're just a big 0.
I know,
Right,
right?
yeah.
I mean, you think that's the manager, man.
Well, he's not very tall. I mean, look, he's barely
doesn't-
taller than those old guys who are, I'm assuming, are the coaches.
Okay, look,
He
keep in mind,
probably does vodka commercials. You know, hey, I'm absolute 0.
that's cool. Maybe you should think of that. Him being a champion and
That's
all.
right. He is a champion.
Champion. All right.
Okay, so that guy is Christian Braun is his name, and he's a rookie. He's 22. So
No, he's 0.
that's right. Well, that's it. He was just happy to be there. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, it seems like we have a song coming up.
We do have a song coming up, and this actually plays right into the Jackass because we're going to talk about this in Jackass. But this is, you mentioned earlier, the Biden thing with the allegations that he has taken a huge bribe.
It later too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we will be talking about it later. But
and again, yes.
It warranted a song, and so here it is.
Where is the money? Where is the money? With Garland's DOJ, they sure can't get it wrong. Where is the money? Don't Joe seem funny? Who needs an alibi when the press just sings our song? If you hide your deposit, not much can cause it to be found. We'll all be sure to get some, so spend it fast so we can have a blast. And where is the money? The big guy's my honey. Let's spend it, lend it before the feds come sniffing around.
Once again, some sterling singing, missus.
Thank you.
Do you have a little applause button? Give yourself a
yeah, there we go. Maybe it'll play sometime this week.
Scientist's apple.
There we go.
All right. But you know what that means? It's time for...
This is Neil Young.
Hey, get that jackass out of here!
And I'm proud to present my Braying Jackass of the Week.
I feel obligated to let everyone know that was a parody voice. And that was actually the missus doing a parody voice. Because, you know, the Supreme Court and everything. Right. All right. Up first this week, President Brandon Magoo had a very flippant yet telling response when asked about an FBI informant who claims Magoo took a $5 million bribe from the Ukraine when he was Veep.
Bribery allegation. Congresswoman Nancy Mace says there's damning evidence in the FBI file that you sold out the country. Do you have a response to the congressional Republicans?
Where's the money?
No, I didn't do it.
Exactly.
I'm upset. Yeah, you can't find the money.
It's like saying, Mr. Smith, your wife's been missing for 2 months. Did you have something to do with her disappearance? Oh, yeah? Find the body.
Find the body.
Yeah. That's what innocent people say.
Well, you know, as he said back at the time, you know, and son of a bitch, they fired that prosecutor. That was
Yes,
investigating.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
So the interesting thing I find really about this thing with Biden is how nobody but the New York Post and Fox News are covering it. You would think this would be huge, that Chuck Grassley read this on the floor of the U.S. Senate, right? That there's an informant that says this stuff is true. But no coverage of it.
It's far better. It's far better than the Steele dossier already.
Right.
which was ludicrous from. I mean, it's so ludicrous. Anyway, I'll stop.
I know.
We
I
have
know.
three tonight, and the second of the three is White House correspondent or White House spokes. What was that? Raggedy Ann. Raggedy Ann. Yes.
Oh,
White House
sorry.
spokesperson
Our
Raggedy
printer,
Ann.
our terrible printer cut that off. White House
Yeah, it
dog
did.
washer, Karine Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes. She answered a question from White House correspondent Owen Jensen about the safety of girls competing against biological boys. Here was the official White House response.
Say to parents out there who have daughters, let's say in high school, for example, who are worried that their daughter may have to compete against a male, a person born male, and there could be directly in physical athletic competition and worry about their daughter's safety.
So look, what you're alluding to is basically saying that transgender kids are dangerous. It sounds like that's what you're saying. Well, you're saying that their safety is at risk. Yeah, but you're laying out a broad example or explanation of what could potentially happen. A broad example explanation that is dangerous. That is a dangerous thing to say. That essentially transgender kids we're talking about are dangerous.
And I hope she has a 280-pound NFL lineman run full tilt into her someday.
Well, I was talking about this today with.
I mean, as long as that lineman, identifies as female, it should be perfectly fine.
I was talking about this today with Pugs, who is a wrestler, and he went to prom with a girl who was also a wrestler. And so Pugsley this year wrestled heavyweight, and the girl he went with also wrestled heavyweight. And I said to him, if you had put on a dress and said, I'm a girl, you could have wrestled her. Now, Pugsley is 6'1", and about 230 pounds. And this young girl that he went to prom with was about 5'5", and, probably about 170. But they'd have been in the same weight class. Now, the fastest I have ever seen Pugsley pin someone in a tournament is 15 seconds. But I think he probably could pin her in about 8.
and for reference, when he was in 8th grade, a girl who was the state champion for girls.
Right, she was the girls' state champion.
She was the girls' state champion, entered a boys' tournament. And he pinned her. It was in the 3rd period, but he pinned her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we have number 3 of our Jackass of the Week candidates, Whoopi Goldberg. God, you just have such a dream team.
I know.
This is like the dream team of ass.
It's different. What did you say?
Jackasses. Whoopi Goldberg, co-host of ABC's The View, shaved her. No, she didn't say shave her legs. I don't think she's done that. Anyway, shared her legal expertise with the audience as to why the Trump case is so much different from what either Hillary Clinton or resident of the White House Brandon did. See if you can follow what her reasoning might be.
People talking about what Hillary did. I don't want to hear any more talk about what other people have done, because none of them, not one of them, has said no to any of the inquiries, no matter how poorly they were fashioned or questioned. Nobody fought it. Everybody said, look in and see what you find. That's what I want. See, I don't want to hear you say, well, Hillary, and why didn't you give it? I don't want to hear that anymore. I don't want to hear people talk about, well, Biden did it. Biden was not the president, y'all. He was the vice president.
And he's still under investigation.
Which means that it would have meant the president had to have declassified it. That was Obama at the time, okay?
So do you understand the point that she was trying to make there?
I'm sure she didn't. Mark, did you?
I think I understood it. I mean, she was saying that that they never refused a question. They'd say, where is it? And that's exactly what Biden said. They said, oh, what about this bribery? And he's like, where's the money?
Yeah, show it to me.
Right. But the thing about Obama being president, well, see, Biden was vice president. Trump was president. Biden was president. And Obama was president at the time. That means if Chewbacca is not a Wookiee, you must have quit.
Yep.
He's the
So
Chewbacca defense.
we have three candidates. Number one.
Well, she does look a lot like Chewbacca.
So three
Yeah,
candidates.
that's true.
Candidate number one, resident of the White House, Biden, who said, "Show me the money." Number two, Jean-Pierre Van Damme, who talked about, transgender people aren't dangerous at all. You bigot. And number three, Whoopi Goldberg with a word salad, proving that English is probably her second language. So, I'm not seeing anything from our studio audience. So, Mark, what are your thoughts?
Oh gosh, I would love to have a three-way tie, but I'll have to go with the traitor Biden.
Traitor for Biden.
Okay, one for Biden.
And not seeing anything from the internets, so I'm going to give that a second. But Willie Cully notes that what's such self-loathing that Ted Danson had, which is
I know, crazy,
wow.
right?
I couldn't spend 15 minutes in a room with her. So let's go for boy. Okay, I think Whoopi is the stupidest. Tim's voting for Whoopi. I think that Karen Van Dam, I think she is the most disingenuous, and I think Biden is the most loathsome. So I'm going to have to, Tim, I hear you on number three. I'm going to have to agree with Mark and go for number one. We have a winner.
And no sound. There it goes.
Whoa.
Yep. Way to go, President Biden. And this has been Neil Young's Braying Jackass of the Week. Oh, yeah? Find the body.
Yeah, find the body. Resident Biden.
Hey, like you said before, he held back that $1 billion in aid, and son of a bitch, they got rid of that prosecutor.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, why do I say Resident Biden? Because I think there might have been some shenanigans with the numbers, and I can get away with it now. All right, it's time for
Think Real Fast.
Renowned author and mathematician and vote-by-mail advocate Ted Theodore Kaczynski passed away this weekend. He had terminal cancer and was 81. Mark, when you heard about this one, did you think, wow, that story exploded?
Oh, that's funny.
Are you threatening me?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't think of that. I just stood in awe of his woodworking capabilities.
There you go.
He was very much into home craft projects.
The missus.
He was.
Who really was in the wrong? The post office or those pesky executives?
The pesky executives? What are you talking about?
The people he blew up.
Oh.
So who was in the wrong? The post office?
Well, those pesky executives flaunting their technology.
Yes.
Because let's be honest, if the post office thought they could get away with it, they'd still be delivering mail by horseback and charging us the same price.
And Tim Turner notes his friend
everyone
from high
knows
school was the lead in the FBI team that caught Ted.
What was that?
Tim Turner notes his friend in high school was the lead of the FBI team that caught Ted.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Always remember your friends might have projects they're working on. All right, synthetic human embryos have been made in the lab. Mark, now that John Hopkins defines lesbians as non-men who are attracted to non-men, does that mean women serve no more purpose?
As soon as they develop artificial wombs.
There you go. Well, that's they actually have one of those. So, the missus.
Yes.
How does it feel to be a non-man?
Well, I've been a non-man for quite some time. And actually, this is true. I told you this when the story came out. My intro to business teacher when I was an undergrad in college, he was a much older guy, and that's how he referred to all the students as the males and the non-males. And I was like, that's amazing. Ambrose, vindication.
There.
Applause for some Ambrose.
Oh, it's like, it just, I'm hilarious. I think it's hilarious watching the left trying to erase women from society, which is just weird to me. Okay.
Well, and
I
it's
think it was
getting
the,
it's
I think it was the ultimate aim of feminism. You know, make women just like men, so that there would be no longer any women.
Well, and speaking of someone who's definitely not a woman, that's Hillary Clinton, who notes that the Ukraine conflict shows that women and children are the primary victims of conflict. Mark, does that mean that the Ukrainian infantry is invulnerable to artillery all of a sudden?
No, it's just full of women and children.
The missus, doesn't she actually mean non-men and non-adults?
That's exactly what she means.
Oh, I love Newspeak. The media is doing everything possible to ignore the confidential informants report that Joe Biden took big bribes, and he has it all recorded. Mark, was it aliens?
No, it was somebody peeing on his bed, a prostitute probably.
The missus, are we sure it wasn't aliens?
I still have the aliens meme from last week. I can just put that up. There it is. I'm not saying it's aliens. I'm saying it's aliens every time Joe Biden's in trouble.
Well, maybe that's why his earlobes are attached now.
No.
Are they really? I hadn't noticed that. That's a good conspiracy theory, Mark. I like that.
Ever since, yeah, if you go back before like 2019 or so, he has detached earlobes, but since then they're attached. I think it's just for plastic surgery to pull his skin back.
They had to staple his earlobes to the sides of his head to make it work.
Yeah. Basically, that's the only way you can smile. Otherwise, it'd just be sagging.
Well, he does look like he's had a facelift. He really does.
Oh, he's had every part of his body replaced. He has fake hair, fake teeth, and yeah. Oh, yeah. Good heavens.
How sad to get hair plugs and still go bald.
Well, he was balder in
That's true.
1988 when he first ran than he is today. The man is a consummate. No, stop. I'm not. Just think real fast.
That's because That's because Corn Pops was rubbing more than just the hair on his legs.
All right, I'm not going to touch that one, but Corn Pop did.
That's what Corn Pop said. Yeah.
Local French mayor Olivier Lepec is the most hated man in France after he gave the okay to bulldoze 10,000-year-old megalithic monuments done by the ancient residents of France for a do-it-yourself store. Mark, why do the French hate do-it-yourselfers?
You know, I don't know, but you know, look what happened to Kaczynski.
He got Jeffrey Epstein.
I'd have to have a little bit more tequila before I was bombed. The missus, would it be better if they ground up all those ancient stone monuments and used them for the gravel in the parking lot of the DIY store?
See, I think that's the only thing to do there. I mean, it's respectful. It's in keeping with the traditions, I guess.
Yes.
French blow things up. French give things up, though, don't they?
Yeah. You know, here's the real deal, though. If those monoliths weren't consistent with the Quran, then they needed to be destroyed. And if they were consistent with the Quran, then there wasn't any reason for them. So of course, bulldoze them.
There you go. Which is actually exactly what happened. I believe that this is going to be like a news show. I need to stop. All right. The European took the first step in regulating artificial intelligence. Mark, is this why Skynet will attack Europe first?
What did they regulate? Are they like Biden can't visit anymore?
No, artificial intelligence.
Not zero intelligence?
Yes.
It has the intelligence of a can of lukewarm soup.
Well, I mean, it's artificial. It's not like he really has intelligence.
But is that why Skynet will attack Europe first?
No, Skynet will attack. Let me think real quick. Japan, to get rid of the giant robots that would fight it.
The robot dogs.
Oh.
Gundam, you know, they don't want to.
I like it. I like it. The missus, does the AI even speak French?
Oui. I'm sorry, you were asking.
They probably speak fake French. Croissant. I contre-monde.
So you're saying that the AI can only have a French accent?
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, that was.
Oh.
Think real fast.
And it's called Think Real Fast, not Click Real Fast.
Yes. My parting thoughts for this week's episode is there are years that happen when not a thousandth of the things that happened this week happened. We couldn't have covered them all if we'd gone for 4 hours. You have the big start of the offensive by the Ukrainians against the Russians, which so far has
Is
garnered
it big,
them
though? Is it big?
It's garnered them 1/6,000th of their country back at the at the cost of half of their armor. You have Biden being accused of treason in the most plausible sense of any person in the history of the republic. You have the first indictment of a former president of the republic. You have people saying that there's aliens in the most credible fashion. I think it's a psyop, but in the most credible fashion that's been said in my lifetime. We're closest to nuclear war in my lifetime. The economy appears to be really tanking. Janet Yellen said that the dollar will cease to be a reserve currency very soon. And I mean, I couldn't even. The U.S. is planning on evacuating American citizens from Taiwan. That's all this week.
On that bright, happy note.
And it's only Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Massive cannibalism. Right. If only Jim were here to hear the massive cannibalism. So I'm saying what we are here is, and I think that when you see people who are in great amounts of power up against the wall, they'll do anything to distract. So, that's one thing. When I played Mario Brothers, I wondered where the little bodies of the Marios went to go and decompose, and if underneath those pits,
they throw them into the lava.
They were just filled with
little Mario bones
of Mario corpses and skulls. So kind of like a little Mario Skynet.
On that note.
Oh, on that note. Thanks everyone for cannibalism.
Like Guardian of the Galaxy too.
Thanks everyone for coming to Bombs and Bants and Wednesday Rants. This has been a fun ride, and I hope you enjoyed. Everyone take care, and we'll see you next week. I'm John.
I'm Mark.
And I'm the missus. Y'all come back now, you hear?